Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and yesterday we took a look at the cards that I want to see stay from Basic and Classic in the core set, and shocker, we're doing the unthinkable. We're doing the other side of it today. We're gonna look at the cards I want to leave. I don't want to see them stay at all. Nobody got that in the comments, nobody at all. I'm not gonna show it because nobody did. Don't look at that video's comments. They're definitely not there. They're definitely not there. Anyways, let's take a look. Again, same criteria, classic, basic. These are cards that I just think have overstayed their welcome or are just completely useless, and why keep them around. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at the 10 basic and classic cards that I absolutely don't want to keep around in the core set. So starting off at number 10, this might surprise some people. This is two cards, and they're two of my most favorites. Malygos and Alexstrasza. Legendary dragons. One is spell damage +5, the other one sets health to 15, and they have been like the combo enablers, the combo cards in Standard forever. And I think if you want to really reshape the core set and really spice things up, you get rid of Malygos, you get rid of Alexstrasza. They've been the staples forever. You replace them with some new combo cards, some new iconic dragons, something new. And I think Malygos and Alex are awesome. I've played more Malygos decks than any other archetype in the history of Hearthstone in Standard and Wild. So if I'm saying it, I think that's pretty unselfish, right? I mean, come on. But regardless, I just think it would be a really good change. You can always bring them back later. It's a rotating core set. But for the purpose of really spicing things up, what a great way to get started by just getting rid of Mally and Alex, not in Standard. That would just be a really crazy thing, and I think it would be a refreshing, welcome change. At number 9, I'm gonna go with a Warrior card. A lot of people thought I should put Brawl on this list, but I'm gonna put Battle Rage, the 2-mana spell. You draw a card for each damaged minion. This card loves to be problematic, whether mainly lately because of Risky Skipper, but a lot of times it ends up being like a 2-mana sprint, 2-mana draw more, and it just depends on what's in the game. And maybe now that Risky Skipper's getting Hall of Fame or rotated, whatever, it's not as prevalent. But I just feel like this cheap draw for Warrior has been a little bit much, and you already have cards in the game like Cutting Class, and you got the, there's a 5-minute legendary that sees no play, because why are you going to play it when you can just draw with Battle Rage? So I think Battle Rage might, take a little bit of a step here, let Warrior get away from having that ridiculous draw, maybe focus more on being like that big archetype that they like, or Control Warrior, more aggro base where you don't, run cards like Battle Rage. And I think it would be a refreshing change for Warrior. At number 8, I'm going to go with the Warlock minion Flame Imp, the 1-mana 3/2 demon, damages your hero for 3. This has been like every Zoo deck forever and ever and ever. And I just like to see that change. I'd like to see Zoo without Flame Imp. I've never seen it. In the history of Hearthstone, I have never seen a Zoo deck without Flame Imp. You could maybe argue Voidwalker instead, but Flame Imp to me is just like that oppressive 1-mana 3/2 1-drop that just always beats the other 1-drops. And it'd be just kind of cool to see Warlock without Flame Imp. You can always bring it back, but maybe for 1 year, we get a break from that Zoo archetype, and you can run other 1-drops. Like, there's been so many other 1-drops that have been made for Warlock that you just don't bother running because you got Flame Imp. Why would you bother? So maybe Flame Imp would open the door for some other cards. At number 7, I'm going to go with the Shaman card, Lightning Storm. Unless this card gets reworked, Shaman deserves a better board clear in the core set than this absolute piece of garbage. 3 mana, deal 2 to 3 damage, so that's not even great even if you high roll it, and then you overload 2, which is crippling. This card is just terrible, and Shaman's been in such a rough spot because they have these terrible overload cards that aren't even that great at 3, and then you get punished for it. So I'm hoping Shaman gets a lot of like good stuff added to the core set or reworked, and Lightning Storm is like that example. A bad overload card, high variance on that overload card that can just lose you the game, and I would just love to see this type of card just disappear from Shaman's repertoire forever, or get reworked in a way that's like, maybe it's just 3 mana, deal 3 damage, overload 1, would probably be a lot more reasonable. It'd be a good card, but I mean, they freaking need it. Shaman just sucks unless it's got like broken aggro stuff going on. At number 6, I'm going to go with the Rogue spell, Shadow Step, 0 mana. You bounce a friendly minion back to your hand. It costs 2 less. This card is just always like I mentioned in a very recent video, very front and center and very degenerate decks, whether it be Quest Rogue, like all the stuff with Edwin. You got hand buff stuff. We've had like Prince Kelisa stuff. This card, it's 0 mana. It just busts the game in so many different ways. And I would like to see a world where Rogue doesn't have access to Shadow Step. Maybe Tenwu, that 2-mana 3/2 legendary that bounces things and makes them 1, would actually see some relevant play if you didn't just have Shadow Step. Maybe run Potion of Illusion. Maybe we'd actually run other bounce effects when you don't have this absolutely broken 0-mana bounce effect. It might open the space for some other stuff. You could still have bouncing things going on in Rogue. There's still gonna be stuff in Standard alone. So I think Shadow Step it's had its time, its shine, but I think it's time for it to take a step back, at least for a little bit. Number 5, I'm gonna go with a Mage spell, Frost Nova, 3 mana, you freeze all enemy minions. This card is just so freaking annoying. Like, having your board frozen for relatively cheap, it could be discounted, whatever. It's just a very toxic, unfun card. And I feel like Blizzard, the 6 mana card, is more reasonable for a freeze effect. Even Kona Cold's 4 mana, 3 targets, right? Like, it does a damage, but still, Frost Nova is just one of those really unfun cards that really just doesn't, the whole game of Hearthstone's typically built around fighting for board, and when you can't interact with the minions on your board because they're frozen, it's just a very frustrating experience. I've always found that this card to be a little bit too cheap, too frustrating, and I'd love to see Frost Nova just go, hang out in wild for a bit. Just chill out, all right? Just chill out. Yeah, I apologize for that. Next, at number 4 is a Hunter Weapon, 7 mana, 5/2, Gladiator's Longbow. When your hero attacks, you're immune. Like, has Hunter ever run this card? Like, I forgot it was a card when I was going through this, and like, why does Hunter have this epic that just sucks? It's like Arcanite Reaper with the upside for 2 more mana that you're immune in a class that likes to go face. Like, I'd like to see some more interesting weapons in Hunter than this. Like, we do have Rin's, like the Rin's rifle and Eaglehorn bow might be sticking around. I don't know, but like, this weapon, it just doesn't need to be in Hunter. It can go, they can replace it with some cool beast. I don't know, just anything else. Just Gladiator's Longbow. Blech. Well, what's the point? At number 3, I have the Druid minion, Ancient of Lore. This used to be a good card. It used to draw 2 cards, but it doesn't anymore. It's a 7 mana 5/5. Draw 1 card, heal, or choose 1 or heal for like 5. And even if it drew 2, compared to like card draw these days, this card would be way too slow. Imagine paying 7 mana to draw 2 cards in 2021. You like pay 1 mana for 4 or 0 mana for 2. Like, it's just, this card's it's just antiquated. Even if they unnerfed it, I would still say rotate it. So you know what? I would recommend rotate it, get it out of here. It's just not worth it. Get a cool new, choose 1 card in a Druid to replace it, and unnerf it, revert its nerf, send it to wild, and it'll still see 0 play there, because yeah, Ancient of Lore has been power crept out of the game and really just shouldn't be in the Druid's repertoire at all anymore. And the last 2 are big ones. The last 2 are the biggest ones, and they're a bunch of cards. They're both like not just 1, and 2 is just the useless basic cards. Get rid of all of them. There's no point for Magma Rager anymore. Or was there ever? I don't know, memes. Booty Bay Bodyguard, Corehound, Lord of the Arena, all these just vanilla statted minions that are been power crept a billion times over. They're just absolutely a waste of space in your collection. You're never going to play them. Even as a noob, you don't even play them. So really, other than drafting them in the arena, there's just no point of them. And I feel like with the way Hearthstone is developed and the way, even with expansions, they rarely make pack fillers anymore. I'd like to see that in the core set itself. No pack fillers in the core set. Every card, for the most part, could have a realistic use in some fashion. But honestly, Booty Bay Bodyguard, what are you doing with that card? A 5 mana 5/4 with taunt? It's even been power crept by Evil Heckler back in the day, and that saw 0 play. So all of these pack filler, useless basic cards, I think they've had their time. I get what their purpose was, but it's evolved. The game's evolved way too much for that. Get rid of all of them. And before we get into number 1, I have a few honorable mentions. Ones I'm kind of on the fence about, and I'm interested to hear your guys' take on it. And first is Savage Roar and Bloodlust. These are like the iconic, like, give your board plus attack, and they're extremely powerful whenever a wide Shaman deck's good. Bloodlust is insane. Whenever a wide Druid deck is good, Savage Roar is insane. They're always there, and maybe you bring like a Branching Paths back, or like an Everything Can Happen, or some kind of other board buff rather than just always Savage Roar, always Bloodlust. But maybe that should be the flavor of those classes and should be iconic, like I argued the other day with back 7 SIA 7 agents. So not totally sure on those, but I wouldn't hate seeing them go. Soulfire for Warlock, 1 mana deal 4. Basically every 1 mana deal 4 has been Hall of Famed, like Ice Lance, Power of Overwhelming, Cold Blood got nerfed. We do have Nitro Boost Poison now, but I don't know. Is it time for Soulfire to go? It's pretty iconic for Warlock. It has the discard mechanic going on. Maybe not. I'm on the fence about this one, but 1 mana deal 4 has been pretty powerful, and maybe you could just revert it to WoW to make it 0 again. That'd be insane. I don't know. And lastly, Stone Tusk Boar. 1 mana, 1/1 beast with charge. It's just always like this design limiting thing. They've talked about it. I would be shocked to see Stone Tusk Boar not leave, but yeah, just one I thought I'd mention because like anytime this card is actually in the meta, it's always in some toxic, polarizing, horrible deck that absolutely nobody wants to face, like a Quest Rogue or some hand buffed thing or just something ridiculous that, again, it's not interactive. You can't do anything about it because it's got charge and it typically is problematic. Anyways, going on to number 1, the card I most want to see leave Classic and Basic is a multitude of cards, and that's the useless legendary cards. We don't need them anymore either. Like, imagine when you would, I know that the core set's free, so this isn't as big a deal, because you're not going to open a pack and open up one of these bad legendaries, and it's got to feel as bad, but still, you'd like to go through your collection and not see like a Lore Walker Cho. I apologize, Hobbs. Please, I'm sorry. Or a Nat Peggle, or a Millhouse, or the Beast, or whatever. These cards are just not any good. They've barely been any good at any point. The game has evolved so much that I feel like get rid of all the useless legendaries that see pretty much no play, replace them with either old legendaries from Wild or something new, something interesting, and I don't think you'll hear anybody complain about it, especially because they'd be free in the core set, so a little bit selfish on that, but still, I just think get rid of all the useless legendaries, and as I mentioned, the useless basic cards, or Priestess of Elune. I forgot to mention that one. Like, what the hell is that card? Oh my god. Just get rid of those cards, and I can't wait. Like, I was looking through my collection. I can't wait to see what the game's going to look like with this new core set, because there are so many old cards that are stuck in our collections that you don't even think about that are going to go away, and I think that's a really cool thing. So we'll see what they do. Let me know in the comments below what cards you just want to see leave Classic and Basic forever. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.